Welcome back to another vlog. This time we are spending some time in the Hamptons on a PR trip that I was invited to in September of last year. If you didn't know, I spent about 4.5 years in restaurants before I transitioned into the food media industry, and to be honest, I'm still quite a noob in this food media world, and I thought it would be quite exciting just to show you a peek into what one of these PR trips look like, because I myself did not know what they look like, and I myself did not know what I was doing on this trip, so here it is. Day 1, Activation 1, we have caviar and champagne. Living it up, baby.
To open caviar tins, a tin opener. You break the seals on both sides.
Fancy schmancy ingredients aside, I actually learned quite a bit here in this activation, as they like to say, and I really enjoyed the presentation.
Welcome officially to Culinary House, CBC Culinary House Session 2. We have a really great activation to kick things off. If you enjoy.
It started as an environmental project and eventually developed into the largest DNA for sturgeon, and we produce about 26 tons of caviar a year, about 20% of the world's caviar production. So if you'd like to join me on a bump, all you do is put your hand like
Obviously,
this.
when you are being treated like kings and queens, there's a lot of money flying around. Not only do you get to taste things, but you basically also have to listen to this kind of live commercial. But hey, free food. I would go to great lengths to acquire it.
We observe it. Want to make sure that there's no broken eggs. If that checks, we smell it. White sturgeon is extremely buttery. It literally almost melts in your
One
mouth.
of these tins retails for about $50.
Looks like a smoked fish.
Could be, yeah. There may be a little bit of it. There's like some
The other one, I
pure
believe,
yeast
80 or 90
aromas in
at
there.
least.
And I know very little of champagne. My specialty is caviar. So another fun fact is that sturgeon is a fish that is indigenous of the entire northern hemisphere.
Safe to say I will not be buying this product anytime soon for myself.
Where are they? So those are one of the components that are the traditional accoutrements with caviar. It takes about 13 years for the fish to be mature, but I was telling her, it's not only the time that it takes, but also the size of the fish.
Does one fish then produce like the similar grade for all of its eggs? Are like categorized the same? Okay.
Yes, correct. Within a certain species, so let's say within the white sturgeon or the ossetra, there is what is called different grades. So when the caviar is harvested, before being placed in the tins, it gets assessed and graded. They're huge fish, but they're also very delicate. They don't have an inner skeleton. They only have what they call the gold bones, so they have like a series of diamond spurs on their external skin, which is their exoskeleton. So they have the skeleton on their outside. So if they bang around, if they hit something, they may literally break their back. They're very, very delicate animals. No metal should touch caviar, because when you bring a silver or other spoon to your tongue in contact with caviar and your saliva, there will be a chemical reaction that may impart unpleasant flavor to the caviar specifically. So no metal whatsoever unless it's gold, because gold is a metal that is inert.
After eating and drinking about $70 or $80 worth of goods, we went on to our corn workshop.
Which is like IKEA.
Is that a compliment?
Yeah.
Sustainability, but also taste. Taste is really kind of the key of everything we do. And 2 of them are vegetarian nuggets.
We were presented with 4 chicken nuggets, one of which was actually chicken, 3 of which were imitation chicken. We were presented with some ranchy dipping sauces as well. We had to guess which was which, and
Look what happened.
the chicken one was surprisingly not the best one,
So that's what we said, and then we smelled them. This smells real.
which is not surprising because how we grow meat now is just pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
That's corn.
It's a little cinnamon.
It tastes like chicken, right? I don't like vegetarian chicken, but if you were to try corn, you would be like interested in the category. And
So in addition to some chicken tendies, Corn also makes this ground beef of sorts. Obviously not ground beef, it's made out of mycoprotein, which is fungus. Our chef was fantastic. He knew his way around the kitchen, he knew his way around flavors, and he was a freaking delight in terms of entertaining us with stories of his time cooking for people in the music industry. I tried a LaCroix. I would not recommend this flavor. In terms of what the chef had to offer, homemade hummus, baba ganoush. I quite like this combo, the crunchy tortilla chips with the creamy dips and the little crumble, tender, kind of bouncy, kind of chewy, not meat crumbles with toasty pine nuts and juicy tomatoes and crunchy cucumbers. Just got a little bit of everything that you want. He also fried up some corn chicken fillets, made us some chicken and waffles. He, by the way, made these waffles from home, which was Texas, and he brought it with him on the plane apparently. So these waffles really traveled a long way. Produce was all fresh from farmers markets in the Hamptons. The veggies were delightful, the feta and the dill amazing. As for the chicken itself, I didn't mind it. I didn't exactly love it either. The breading really fell off the quote-unquote meat portion, so it's not like, you know, lower your expectations accordingly. It's not meat, but it kind of looks like it, especially if you are used to eating absolutely shitty farm-raised meat. The star of the show, the dessert.
Penelope ice cream with warm Amarino cherries.
Wow.
5-spice cookies, darker one, and lavender cookie with salt.
Thank you. Lavender. Thanks, Chef.
Thank you.
So good. So unbelievably delicious. And that was it for day 1 with our bellies extremely full. We woke up to day 2. First things first, tea. These teas looked so fancy. There were so many flavors. I had a tough time choosing, but I chose. I brewed it, and I definitely took it out of those sachets because, believe it or not, microparticles kind of disintegrate when they hit hot temperatures like boiling water. So be careful if you don't want plastic essentially in your tea. For novelty's sake, I had to just sneak a few back home. Unfortunately, just not the best tea I've ever had. I'd stick to Harney and Sons. For breakfast, we had a showcase of yogurt and granola, and I mean, I've always been a fan of Stony Field. They make pretty decent yogurt, and Nature's Path has some really exciting granola flavors. They had a turmeric one that's savory. We had some apples, we had some pancakes. The pancakes were pretty good, but I gotta say the blueberries, humongous and delicious. Where did they get these blueberries? I don't know, but I want more. We had some tomatoes and yogurt, which was strained into labna, so creamy, tart, sweet, rich, you know, all that good stuff. After our power breakfast was done, I basically just strolled around the house and admired how amazingly big it was. Then, off we went on a car ride to Pierre's for lunch. This was not a sponsored lunch, this was just a treat yourself lunch from the organizers of the event. I have not seen this much sky in forever.
Well, this, like, at night, this field, this scene is, like, so pretty with, like, the sun setting, and then the moon has been, like, massive.
What have I been doing indoors at night? We were given a set menu. We had a selection of entrees, the ambiance, very crystally chandelier, but very odd decor. It felt like classy, but also kind of kitschy, retro. Anyway, the girls had fun shooting LaCroix cheers.
Wait, can you do the extras in now?
There were a lot of drinks, a lot of Instagramming, and I ordered myself a little octopus cocktail. All I can say is this does not really compare with the Jackson Heights shrimp cocktail that I had, which is far better than this in taste and probably a lot cheaper. But hey, I didn't pay for it. The avocado was nice and creamy, but the octopus itself was kind of rubbery and tough. The flavor was all in the sauce. It really needed a little bit more spice that I just couldn't find in there. The bell peppers were all kind of sweet, the onions kind of weak. However, the fries were pretty damn good. Crunchy, McDonald's-y, salty just right, packed in newspaper, old school, delicious. Classic. Crisp, snappy, and nice and creamy and airy inside. I also went for the mussels in a cream little soupy sauce. It was okay. There were definitely gritty parts that made that eating experience a little bit rough, but overall, not bad. And the cream sauce, perfect for souping up inside my spoons of clamshells. Did I feel classy? For sure. Did I feel kinda trashy? Defo. Dipped into mayo and ketchup. Really wouldn't have it any other way. And really, there's no better combo to be classy and trashy all in one. Hell yeah. And sprinkle on some black pepper. Dip it into your mussel soup. Done. And who can forget about that bread? Honestly, not the best bread that I've had, but really nice and spongy for that soup. Can't let any of that cream go to waste, you know? Pillows of cream. Oh yeah, and that mayo chup, perfect on that bread too. The table came with fancy gray salt, which, you know, I could not resist putting onto my plate. When dessert came, I knew it was a match made in heaven. We got this warm apple tarte tatin, scoops of vanilla ice cream aboard. The apples were caramelized just so until the edges were slightly burnt, toasty, decadent, and then a little touch of salt made everything just even a touch fancier. I truly fell in love with this dessert, ate more than my stomach could hold, and of course, we went back to the house for some prunes. Now, prunes, apparently, miraculously, amazingly healthy for you. But let me just tell you, do not eat more than 4. You will suffer. Speaking definitely from experience, unfortunately. Not doing our bodies any good whatsoever. We sat through a presentation and then we sat down to a tasting where we paired the prunes with bites of other ingredients, some of which worked amazingly well, some of which were not a favorite. There were mushrooms, there were cauliflower, craft beer, which was really just Guinness, grapefruit, yes, with the rind on, virgin olive oil with sea salt, basil. Lots of aromas, lots of textures, lots of color. Prunes with cheese? That's a go. Prunes with chocolate? Yes, please. Prunes with cauliflower? Surprisingly good. Kind of like raisins and cauliflower. Very savory sweet. Walnuts, the perfect bitter contrast to that sweet, cloying gumminess of prunes. The olive oil slick, kind of astringent, the salt very perky and acidic almost. The mushrooms and prunes, interesting. I find that what worked really well was bitter notes. Bitter notes with zesty notes works really well with that prune. My least favorite one by far was the craft beer. I had to mix it up with some sea salt and olive oil and just give it a chug. There was a demo of how to make prune sauce.
Clove and Szechuan peppercorn. Luscious and sticky.
We placed it on ricotta toast, topped it with more nuts, basil, and it was pretty dang good. A little crostini of sorts, if you will. And before dinner, we sat down to a cheese plate platter gathering outside where we chatted while, everyone else chatted. I just snacked. When you invite me to something, I show up for the food. Dinner was a presentation with Le Creuset. They were pushing out a new color named Azure. It was another blue, quite fascinating gradient on it. But to be honest, I feel like Le Creuset has too many blues, no? The chef who cooked our dinner was amazingly patient, very soft-spoken, but her food very, very, very delicious. There was a salad that everyone loved, Brussels baked in creamy goodness, olives tossed with some sort of salad that I can't remember anymore because it's been so long, topped with butternut squash and pomegranate seeds. I just remember loving this meal, feeling like it was truly home cooked, but also really well done. I'm not really sure how this demonstrated Le Creuset really. I feel like you could have cooked this in any pot, but maybe not. Maybe Le Creuset is definitely the secret ingredient. Dessert. Cobbler topped with ice cream. Just can't get away from it. Juicy, juicy stone fruit, sweet. Normally, I'm not a fan of hot baked dessert with cold scoops of ice cream, but I have to say, this was really good. Something about the gumminess, jammy juices of the fruit, cooled down by ice cream, really cuts through that unctuousness. Is that a word? That's a word. That's a good word. After dinner, we sat around a fireplace and it was really nice. It was the first time since, well, the whole pandemic started really that I felt like, hey, people are hanging out and we're not terrified of doom. And that was it. That was our night. Peaceful, chill, chatty, and just a little bit chilly.
We love pickles.
Breakfast time came, sure enough, and we had some oat alternative Caviar, and just not a fan. Y'all, not a fan. This was the one product that I just truly cannot get behind. We also had some butter on bagels and bread. You can't go wrong with butter. This particular product has some avocado oil in it. I truly don't think you need to put avocado oil into butter because butter is the most amazing fat you could put on bread and bagel, but you know, to each their own. Then after I had my carbs, I went back to the oat milk Caviar again. I really gave it a try, y'all, but just nothing about this product pleased me. The packaging, for one, was awful. I could not get the little foil tab off. It broke off at the edges.
Ooh, maybe not.
I had to poke it and stab it, and then it didn't really tear cleanly. Just overall, this needs to go back to the drawing board. The taste was kind of gritty, a little bit chalky. There's no real creaminess to it. Flavored a little bit like Yakult, but more fruitiness. The fruitiness was a little bit artificial and strong.
So they put pectin in here to thicken it. I'm getting like almost like an artificial sweetener aftertaste. But they don't. But there's no artificial sweeteners in here. I wonder if it's in that peach natural flavor, quote unquote.
I just really had to chase it back in with some muffins and butter because that taste in my mouth, not too great. We had a fully stocked fridge with all the beverages we desired, and in the freezer compartment, a shit ton of Talenti. All the flavors you can think of: layered, mint, confetti, raspberry, caramel, which by the way is hands down the best Talenti flavor. Don't fight me on it, just accept it. I also found these Stony Field squeezable fruit yogurt packs, which were quite delightful. If you want to reminisce the past that never happened of a kid being packed with these pouches that are definitely not biodegradable, by the way, with plastic and foil, treat yourself to one of these. The mango one was really delicious, super creamy, reminded me of a lassi. Other flavors were fine, but the mango one, outstanding. Very creamy, very silky, and very, very viscous. I still remember when this packaging came out when I was maybe in, I don't know, high school or college, and it became the newest, most convenient thing ever, and I really just thought, are you shitting me? We really don't need more landfill, but here we are, a decade later, still producing more landfill by the day. Don't know why you need to have this sort of shit, but here it is. For people like me who love nothing more than baby food textures, all the fruit purees combined with the yogurt is just top-notch gold. This is dairy-free, so it is not actually yogurt, but because they don't really pull any oat substitute yogurts here, very acceptable. Saving the best for the last, goat yoga. Truly, this was the whole reason why I decided to come on this trip, because I saw goat yoga and I thought, when else in my life am I ever going to go to goat yoga? Their furry little butts, furry little tails, pooping everywhere, every single time I looked over. Very cat-like, very dog-like, very hairy, very cute. They loved getting scratches, scratches on the head, scratches on the butt, their eyes, beautiful, alien, mysterious.
Hey. Hi. I love you. You're lovely. Look at your little beardies. Hi, buddy. Whoa, who just spat? Who's doing that?
Some were friendlier than others, but one thing that they all shared in common was the love of food, attention, and pets. You know, obviously we did yoga, but we did more just posing with goats than we did yoga, which that's exactly what goat yoga is, folks. Some goats were made for the job, some were not having it. We all have those days. And some were just made to cuddle. They got very comfortable.
That is art.
One of them fell asleep.
Oh my gosh,
One of them almost pooped on one of our colleagues. Almost. Thank God.
Just don't poop on me. Don't poop on me. Wait, smile.
I didn't really want to have a goat on top of me. I just wanted to have goats all around me, which I got my wish fulfilled. I got to pet a whole lot of them. They came to me, I petted them, they left. Rinse and repeat.
Yay.
And one of them got really comfortable on my mat and just took a nap. And don't tell Fred, but they might be the better cats. However, they do shed quite a lot. A lot. And I was kind of allergic to them. My hands were very itchy afterwards. Still, love is hurt. If you sign up for love, you sign up for the hurt too.
I was actually surprised they didn't mess with your shoes. Sometimes they like
Sage, my brother. World peace. Do not choose violence.
And we returned to the house one last time to pack and to leave the house. But before we left, there were ice creams to eat. I definitely scooped more than I could handle, and I definitely ate all of it. You know what? No regrets, because ice cream is always good. I had some vanilla, I had some chocolate, and then I had some yogurt parfait, which, you know, hit me with some mango in that yogurt. Top it with some granola, if you please. However you got it, just give it to me.
I'm gonna miss you very much.
Oh, thank you, June. Did you hear that? She said she was gonna miss me, not you. Were you talking to me or you?
Both. You can't have cookies without cream. Cookies and cream.
I made some good friends, we had some fun, and all in all, it was a great time. I was very happy to be invited to this trip. I had no idea why I was invited, but you know, take what life gives ya and eat it all. That's it for this time. Let's see what adventures we get up to next time.